because you lie so much. I don't know what to believe what comes out your mouth.
Don't mistake mom for a character witness, because mom's not going to say that you're a truth teller. One of the things that teenagers don't know how to do is keep their mouth shut. So that's one of the blessings that you have, that this, if there can be a blessing in a triple homicide, is that you've got, people who aren't smart enough to really cover things up. What was the point of me snitching on everybody if I was going to get charged? Good question.
That's guilty by association.
I don't know.
Shut the fuck up. I mean, Jesus, Martha. I can't believe that screaming at the child. Granted, these situations are very tense. Mom should not be in the room.
You don't know? This is some shit that's serious.
I want a lawyer. Can I have a lawyer? It looks like I'm in a corner of a room. Looks like you got 3 or 4 people ganging up against me. Looks like I think I need a lawyer. Now, there's a big misnomer about, does a 12-year-old have the capacity to understand a waiver of his constitutional rights? Probably not. That's why parents usually get involved.
I will go and I will shoot that ass.
Well, at least Grandma's got her shit together.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching. Oh.
There you go.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your very own personal board-certified criminal defense lawyer, coming to you with our content genius that you know as Michael Rivers, the man behind the plan, the man behind all the content. I have nothing to do with it. Without him, I'm nothing. Today we're reacting to mom horrified after 12-year-old son's confession. Doesn't sound like a good day for either mom or the 12-year-old. But before we get to that, before we get to our, and this will be a cold reaction. This will be one of these, grab a bottle of wine, grab some popcorn, set the kids down, light a fire, and set your laptop up and get ready to just kind of have a good old time, because that's one of these reactions. But before we get to that, this is brought to you by eForms.com. eForms.com is a very excellent way for you to get a legal form to protect yourself, because the documents don't lie. So if your grandma's in the basement and she needs a power of attorney, guess what you do? You go to eForms.com. You protect grandma with all her frailties and whatever she's doing down there. Anyway, eForms.com, very effective way to stay out of court or win in court, because documents don't lie, and also an excellent way to avoid the cost of a high-priced lawyer. Okay, and before we get to our reaction, if you want to get some merch, you go to clrbrucerivers.com, right, Michael?
Yes, you go to clrbrucerivers.com. We got hats, shirts, hoodies, all sorts of goodies. Christmas is around the corner.
You say hats and hoodies and all sorts of goodies?
Yeah,
I don't think you meant to rhyme that, did you?
Did not mean to rhyme that, no.
Okay. You speak up just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I'm closer to the mic.
All right, and so we got a little gift in the mail, and on the back of it says, "Thank you for cutting to the truth." And it says, "You are the cutting-edge lawyer influencer, Bruce." And this is from Miss Evans in Aspen, Colorado. She sent us this knife, a very nice bread knife. So thank you very much, Miss Evans. Hats off to you. And, we don't demand gifts. People send stuff to us all the time, and we really appreciate it. We have the absolute best fan base on the planet. So thank you. And thank you all for listening and watching our program and supporting CLR, because it's a father-son project, labor of love. And here we go. So this is mom horrified after 12-year-old son's confession. Now, there's a big misnomer about, does a 12-year-old have the capacity to understand a waiver of his constitutional rights? Probably not. That's why parents usually get involved. So let's just see what happens here.
Be honest, baby. It's okay.
Because you're gonna feel so much better. You're gonna feel so much better.
I hate this shit. This is emotional manipulation of a child. And if that isn't some kind of coercion, I don't know what is. You can't coerce somebody to waive their rights.
When they pull this GPS, will it show that you were at home in your bed, or will it show that you were somewhere else?
That sounds like mother talk.
That's the question that was asked. You don't know?
This is some shit that's serious.
I want a lawyer. Can I have a lawyer? Looks like I'm in a corner of a room. Looks like you got 3 or 4 people ganging up against me. Looks like I think I need a lawyer. I mean, he's in handcuffs. And what is the one thing that you need to do when you're in handcuffs and you're in custody and there's interrogation? Miranda. That's the warning that you have the right to have a lawyer present.
What I'm supposed to do?
Robert, you don't understand that you're just as guilty if you know who did it and you're not saying nothing.
Jesus Christ. Okay, let's say if you know who did it, you're not saying nothing, you're not just as guilty as that person. If you were with that person, and you aided, abetted, counsel, conspire, or otherwise help procure, it's conspiracy language. But aiding and abetting is you advise, you encourage, you're there, you're helping. So that's what makes you liable for the crimes of another, not if you know something and don't say something.
That's guilty by association.
Shut the fuck up. I mean, Jesus, Martha. I can't believe that screaming at the child. Granted, these situations are very tense. Mom should not be in the room.
One thing, I was just relating that back to the parents that bought the kids a gun.
Right.
Yeah, so that's...
Right.
Yeah,
when you have a parent that buys a gun for a child, I think there's a disconnect there because you can buy a child a gun. Mm-hmm. And you have to know, it has to be more. If it just all of a sudden happens out of the blue, I don't think there's liability. But if you have a notebook full of shit and you've got counselors involved, and I mean, that person shouldn't have a gun. What was the point of me snitching on everybody if I was going to get charged? Good question.
On everybody, if I was going to get charged, why did you make me stay?
I said I don't know.
My life is ruined.
When the bodies of 3 teenagers were discovered over a period of several days in the same neighborhood in Marion County, Florida, the police didn't know what to think. This would set the tone for the rest of the case, as the emerging suspects all seemed intent on blaming each other.
That is actually a good strategy. This whole thing is a good strategy because, okay, we don't know shit. We don't know who's telling the truth. And here's the thing, we get in the comments sometimes that, we should encourage self-snitching because it solves crimes and we want people who are guilty to be fine. I don't. My job is to defend somebody, to get somebody out of trouble, whether they're guilty or not. People ask me all the time, have you ever defended somebody that you knew 100% was innocent? Yeah, of course I have. But who's
guilty?
Have you ever defended anybody that you knew was 100% guilty? Of course I have. But whose job is it to put them away? It's the government's job. It's not my job to help the government do their job. It's not my job to write a passport for my client to prison.
The identity of the alleged perpetrator, along with the motive for the heartless murders, turned out to be more alarming than anyone wanted to believe. The police first learned that something was terribly wrong just before midnight on March 30th, 2023, when they received this 911 call.
There's a girl laying in front of my road and she's dying.
Okay, is she awake?
She's dying. I don't know. She's bleeding out of her head. She's gargling on her blood.
You need to turn her on her side so she doesn't choke, okay?
It doesn't matter what side? On what side?
No, just turn her on her side so she doesn't choke on the blood, okay?
Oh, God.
Is she awake?
No.
Okay, is she breathing?
She's breathing.
Oh.
Do you know how far they are?
I don't have an ETA, but they are on the way, okay?
Deputies from the Marion County Sheriff's Department arrived moments before the ambulance. While paramedics rushed to try to save the victim, the deputies tried to get a grasp on the chaotic scene. Within 5 minutes of the ambulance arriving, the victim was on her way to the nearest hospital. The sheriff's department was left to pick apart the seemingly inexplicable scene.
She's not responsive? No, not responsive. No, there's no ID, no nothing. Young girl, older girl? Younger girl. Yeah, she was right there, and that's been moved. She was right there, right? Yeah. There's blood everywhere. I was not expecting that. No. Well, I thought it was going to be BS, honestly. Yeah, I immediately thought she had got, like, hit by a car. And I seen the big, but I've never seen an exit wound in the head. Yeah. So I wasn't aware. Oh, yeah. She's laying down. It's all pulled out. I mean, it was. And she was still breathing? Rapid breathing. Yeah. But I don't know.
Whenever you come to a death scene, whether it's a policeman or fireman, and you're dealing with children, it has an impact on the first responder. My father was a fireman, and he never got used to pulling kids out of a burning building. So when a cop or in this case a paramedic, they show up and they see somebody like this, a young person, it's tough to deal with.
I don't know. Medic said she ain't gonna take it. Yeah, more than likely. I mean, if she did, that's wild.
When police made contact with the 911 caller, they learned that he was just as confused about the situation as the deputies. He only became aware that something was amiss when he got a call from his neighbor across the street.
You didn't hear nothing at all? She told me it sounded like someone crashed into my dumpster, and then there was like 2 shots.
The neighbor in question made her way over to talk to the deputies directly. Unfortunately, what she said only served to make the situation even more mysterious.
So, around what time did you hear? You said it sounded like a gun?
Yeah, it wasn't a loud gunshot. I would say about 20, 30 minutes ago. It wasn't a loud gunshot, but I heard about 4 or 5. And I kind of blew it off casually, and then I just looked out of my window because I did think it was strange with it, how late it was. And I saw the car run into the dumpster. Mm-hmm. And once I seen the car run into the dumpster, I stepped out my door, and I seen a man run out of the car down the road towards my yard, and I yelled at him, "What the fuck were you doing?" And then I seen him run back towards the car, take a minute, and I was calling him because it was his dumpster, and I seen him skirt off into the neighborhood.
Did you see if anybody was in? Was it only one? Was there
I
several
only
people?
seen one person running, and it was a male. It had a male figure, had a hat on. I want to say he was like 5 foot, maybe, but it was only one dude running down the road.
This once again tracked with the evidence, as police found several sets of footprints at the scene.
Did you hear the crash first, or did you hear what sounded like
gunshots? I heard the gunshots first.
Where did you?
The deputies closed down.
So it's really important when you come across a scene like this to not contaminate it. And that's why you don't want people walking through the crime scene. You don't want people touching things that are near the crime scene. You don't want any DNA or footprints that are not really involved to kind of confuse the situation.
Deputies closed down the main entrances and exits to the Forest Lakes Park neighborhood, hoping to catch the alleged shooter as he attempted to flee. Unfortunately, the area was heavily wooded, with plenty of places to hide and lots of back roads. This made for a difficult search for police, and an easy getaway for the alleged perpetrator. Meanwhile, the hospital where the victim was being treated was able to provide some help in that regard. They identified the girl as 16-year-old Layla Silvernail. Her grandparents, who were her legal guardians, were understandably distraught. Detectives first made contact with her grandfather, Kenneth.
Layla was found. She was apparently with a gunshot wound, and she was taken to the hospital. So that's part of the reason why we came here, was to let you know about her status, but we also wanted to know any information that you had about who she was with yesterday, who she hanged out with.
What's she in the hospital for?
She has a gunshot wound.
Huh? She was shot. You're kidding.
No, that's what I told you when
This is what I've been trying to tell her. You're hanging around with a crew.
Kenneth hurried to the back of the house to get his wife, Lisa.
So when children become teenagers and they leave the house, they're worse than toddlers who are trying to, walk and do things they're not supposed to do. When a toddler's like that, they don't see the danger in what they're doing. But you were able to kind of go like this, right? We're able to protect them. When your teenager goes out in the car or with friends or whatever, and more you little fuckers are going out with guns. They just are. We as parents go nuts. We worry. And as a criminal defense lawyer, I hate cases that involve kids. Because I've got a homicide right now that involves an 18-year-old kid, 18 years old, and walking around strapped.
Layla's grandmother only seemed to become more distressed when the detectives tried to ask her questions.
Lisa, come here. Lisa, have a seat right here.
Is my granddaughter okay? Will she be okay?
She's going to be at the hospital. I don't know anything. That's why I
Lisa,
talk to you.
I'm the victim advocate, okay? I'm here for you.
I hate listening to that. I just fucking hate it because it's just sheer agony.
Have a seat for us. We need some information so we can find out who did this, okay? I'd like to know too. I will go and I will shoot their asses. No. Listen.
Well, at least Grandma's got her shit together. I mean, your heart just has to go out to her, you know? But shooting that bastard doesn't do anything for anybody. It's not going to do anything for your granddaughter. Ain't going to do anything for you.
Listen. Where was she shot at? Does anybody know anything?
She was shot in the head. Listen, that's all we have right now, okay?
This can't be happening.
Just horrible. Can you think of any worse news than your daughter or your granddaughter was shot in the head?
The situation was actually more horrifying than Lisa knew. Early on March 31st, the morning after the shooting, the police stumbled upon the last thing they were expecting. Just blocks away from the crime scene where Layla was found, police discovered a second victim, also suffering from a gunshot wound. There was little doubt that the two cases were connected, which made the search for the shooter all the more urgent. Back with Layla's grandparents, the detectives desperately tried to find out who might have been with Layla that night. Since they'd already found two victims, they had to wonder if more of her friends were hurt, or in danger too.
So one of the things that they do, they start in the periphery, you know, okay, who are her friends? And they find her phone, and they go through her phone, go through her social media, try to retrace her steps, where she was. And then now they've got a second person, and so they're going to have a second set of data. And you remember what I told you about digital footprints? We have them everywhere. And that starts to tell the story. Because one of the things they'll do is if she did have her cell phone with her, they'll do the tower logs, you know, and figure out exactly where she was when she was there.
Lisa, look at me. Who was she with yesterday?
She came here with and I'm gonna tell you everything because I don't like the people she hangs around with anyway. Okay, that's what we need.
Lisa said Layla was almost always with her boyfriend, 17-year-old Michael Hodo. She also directed the police to Layla's best friend, who might have more information about her activities.
Here's the problem when you have, you know, your daughter's dating a shithead. And I haven't seen this, so I don't know if this guy's a shithead or not. But I've got a case right now where the daughter is on her way to go to medical school and doing something really positive with her life. And she's been living with this boyfriend for about 4 years since she was like 17, so moved out of the house. And very bright girl, very motivated. And the boyfriend is on the hook for selling drugs with guns and everything like that. And probably lying to her about that kind of stuff. What the heck? I mean, what do you do? And the harder you clamp down on your daughter, the further she kicks you away. So there's a delicate balance that you have to walk.
The day before the shooting, another name came up too, and it was one police were already familiar with.
And then that runaway girl, Camille.
Okay.
She was with her too yesterday.
Camille Quarles, 16, had been reported as a runaway by her aunt and legal guardian several weeks prior. It was an open secret that she'd been staying with Layla at her grandparents' house, but no one had successfully brought her home yet. When police made contact with Camille's aunt, Amy, she was not shy about expressing her frustration with the investigation.
I did call it in this morning to ask somebody to go through there, and nobody has called me back. I've called 5 or 6 times a day since she's been gone.
Even worse, Amy's son was hearing all kinds of gossip about the case at school. People were saying Camille had also been shot. The names of the victims and the location of the crime was seemingly common knowledge. Disturbingly, police had not yet confirmed if Camille was involved. Also, they'd not yet released the names of the victims or the location, which meant whoever was spreading this information had to be involved.
And there was another body discovered this morning in that neighborhood.
Okay.
One of the things that teenagers don't know how to do is keep their fucking mouth shut. So that's one of the blessings that you have, that this, if there can be a blessing in a triple homicide, is that you've got, people who aren't smart enough to really cover things up.
I want to know if it's my child.
Okay, the second person is not Camille. I can't identify who that person is, but it's not her.
The identity of the second victim only made the case more dire, especially in regards to Camille's safety. Frustratingly, the police were still in the dark about most of the lead up to the crime, up until they got in touch with Layla's best friend, Gabby. She was more forthcoming and told the detectives that she'd spent the day with Layla and her boyfriend, Michael Hodo, and several other teens who would soon become an integral part of the case.
Was there anybody else in the car other than you, Layla, anytime during the day?
Camille was there.
This was the second statement placing Camille at the scene of the crime, but disturbingly, there was still no sign of her. Prior to the shooting, Camille's aunt said she'd caught sight of her at the park once or twice, and kept a close eye on her Instagram feed to see what she was up to. Since the night of the 30th, though, it had been radio silence.
One of the things that teens just don't understand is the consequences of their actions. They act out of emotion, they act out of anxiety, they act out of anger, they act out of frustration, whatever. But they can't see that what I do today is going to impact me tomorrow. I see that over and over and over again.
Just complete absence of foresight.
Right.
Back with the detectives, Layla's friend recounted their travels throughout the day and who else was with the group.
We went to Rob's. We went to I don't know if it's abandoned. Do you know what a trap house is? Yeah. Okay, so apparently.
Do you know what a trap house is? It's a house, usually an abandoned house where you just do drugs.
Apparently, this kid Rob, I don't know him personally, but they do.
Okay.
They're friends or whatever, and we went over there and we chilled over there.
Significantly, Gabby said that Layla had been the one driving all day, but the only sign of her vehicle, a white Chevy Cruze, was a tire track left at the crime scene. The police hoped that finding the vehicle would offer some insight into what happened the night Layla was shot.
Do you know his last name or anything else about Rob?
No, I don't really know if Rob is his real name or not, because I know some people know him as Reaper, Rob, and stuff like that. So
was anyone else there at the house besides?
So your daughter's hanging out with somebody by the name of Reaper Rob, like the Grim Reaper, I suppose, and going to a trap house and hanging out with people who are probably unsavory.
Was anyone else there at the house besides the three of you and Rob?
Well, there was this kid 3-5, but I don't know his real name.
What's 3-5 look like?
I don't know. He's 12. He's a little kid.
A 12-year-old?
Detectives knew they needed to track down Rob and 3-5. They started with Rob, who they believed to be 17-year-old Robert Robinson, who was already incarcerated at a juvenile detention facility for a different offense. When detectives asked him about 3-5, he directed them to a boy named Christopher Atkins. Shockingly, Gabby was right. He was only 12 years old.
So 12 years old is a little young to be getting an adult sentence. Usually 14 is the cutoff.
Chris and Rob were both minors. Their mothers were asked to join them at the police station before any conversations took place. Chris's mother, Ashley, was the first to arrive.
I don't understand. Where the hell is my son? If he being questioned, why the fuck I'm not in there?
One of the things you find quite often is that people get really upset with law enforcement before they know the facts of what's going on.
Which thing's alone? Where's my son?
He's in the other room right here.
They talking to him?
Not yet. No, they're all getting their stuff together.
It seems she wasn't convinced they weren't already questioning him, because Ashley did her best to hear what was going on in the other room.
And clearly she's dressed for the occasion and doesn't know that they're listening or that they're recording her. One of the things that happens is when they have multiple suspects, they're going to want to interview one person first. And then once they get that information, then they interview the other person. And if they conflict, and sometimes even if they don't conflict, they'll go back to the other person and say, well, and they'll lie to the other guy. So, well, he's putting the jacket on you.
After almost 2 hours of waiting, she was finally escorted to the next room to join Chris, who was visibly trembling.
Can I put this right here? Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Did you want another jacket? That's okay. Are you sure? You look like you're cold. Let me get you.
You say you have 4 siblings? Okay. You guys get along okay in the house?
The detectives set about gradually breaking the ice with Chris, all the time appearing hyper-aware that he was only 12 years old. After taking all necessary precautions, like making both Chris and his mother aware of their rights, and establishing on record that Chris knew the difference between right and wrong, they finally got to the issue at hand.
So, Chris, what I'd like to start with talking to you about is, and like I said, I just want you to be honest with us. I'd like you to talk to me about last Thursday night.
First, we made something to eat. Then we watched TV.
And one of the things children have a hard time doing is putting together a chronological and cohesive story of what happened, because their brains just don't work like ours.
I went to sleep for a little bit, and I heard something outside. I opened the door. There was nothing outside now. I think I went to sleep.
So I think what you just told me was what you probably had rehearsed in your mind several times to tell a police officer if you ever had to talk about that Thursday night. Because sitting here and talking to you with your mom here crying and knowing that you have these siblings, you're probably in sort of an embarrassing and shameful position. If you are sorry for what happened, repent for it and start from the very beginning and go to the very end without me having to pull it from you. Because somebody that I have to pull each individual action from, that tells me that they don't really want to say what they did wrong, that they don't feel bad for it.
Reaper down there has been super honest.
See, Reaper told us all about it. Told us what you did. It's going to go easier on you. It's going to be easy. I mean, you'll feel better. You'll feel better after you just completely fuck yourself.
He, took him a minute to get comfortable with me, and he's told me everything down to details that only he would know.
Well, if he told you everything, why the hell did you need my story?
And that's involved in nobody else would know. Some of the details, he points finger at you.
Exactly.
17-year-old Rob, also known by the concerning moniker Reaper, was also being questioned. Just like Chris, Rob and his mom Erica were both advised of their Miranda rights before the interrogation commenced.
I'm trying to bring the best way to say this to you guys. We're investigating several different incidents that occurred over the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
One being a theft of side-by-side. One being the theft of, a burglary. We're investigating a robbery, and we're investigating a murder. Okay?
Whoa. Who, me?
Murder. Mm-hmm. So,
The first ones you named is believable. The last one you named is not. You don't have the heart to keep the. I know that for a fact.
Okay. What'd you do on Thursday all day?
I mean, I was home all day. Like,
The minute you hear murder, I would like to speak to a lawyer. There's no shame in that game. There's no shame in asking for a lawyer. It's the right thing to do.
I was home all Thursday.
Okay, who were you with? Did anybody come over? Did we hang out with anybody? Did you go anywhere with anybody?
I ain't go no. I came over at like 1 o'clock.
What'd you guys do then?
We were just chilling. Literally, like we were just chilling.
Okay. Was anybody with at the time? How did he get to your house? Things like that?
Sosa drove to my house. It was him, Landon, Layla, and there was another girl with him. I don't know her name.
Sosa was a nickname that Layla's boyfriend, 17-year-old Michael, used.
Can you give like a quick synopsis on like, in your practice, you deal with a lot of aliases, right? And maybe just have a little blurb about that, like
when you're dealing with people who either deal drugs or they're just from the street. Everybody's got a street name. Everybody's got a nickname. A lot of times people don't even know their real names. And so it's not uncommon for, so like Michael Hodo to be referred as Sosa.
Michael's father had last seen him about 6:30 last night, around the same time Gabby said she parted ways with the group. Landon was another local boy who police determined didn't know anything that would aid the investigation. As for the unnamed girl, the police likely wondered if she could be the missing Camille and why she hadn't been seen or heard from since.
Did you go anywhere after 6:30, Rob?
Oh, why do y'all keep asking that?
I just
we
want
keep
to
asking because we've been working on our investigations for
What do
several
y'all
days.
think happened, bro? I'm telling you,
You understand?
in the house
You understand?
that
Rob.
night. Like I only seen Sosa one time that day.
Rob, we know you were out of the house after 6:30. Okay? We know you were with around 7 o'clock p.m.
Thanks to CCTV footage, police believed that Rob, along with others in the friend group, had been involved in the theft of a vehicle and an armed robbery that night. As serious as these crimes were, they paled in comparison to what police believed happened later. Back in the room with Chris, his mother tried to make him understand the severity of the situation.
Well, you need to tell if you ain't.
Well, you need to tell. What I don't like about this is, as I guarantee you, this kid doesn't have the wherewithal to either appreciate the gravity of the situation and appreciate his rights, and the impact, what the impact is on having waive your rights.
Now's the whole story. You know you left out of the house Thursday when I told you not to. And you finna speak. You better talk right now.
And Reaper's already told us what the plan was that night. So we know what the original plan was.
So if I'm the mother there, they're kicking me out of the room because I'm telling my son or daughter, you need a lawyer. You need a lawyer right now, and you boys need to stop questioning my son.
We're asking you now to be honest,
because they don't have a cohesive story of what happened at this point. And the last thing he should be doing is inculpating himself.
And to come forth and tell us what happened and why it happened.
He knocked on the window.
When you say he, I never want to guess. Who's he?
Reaper, a.k.a. Rob, took a lot of convincing before he opened up.
Rob, right now you're protecting KTM and your buddies. You need to think about protecting yourself.
The disturbing meaning behind KTM will be revealed in due time. For now, the fact that the police knew about the mysterious phrase was enough to get Rob talking, reluctantly.
Was that the else?
When you saw, when you were with, who was with y'all?
It was me. 3-5.
Mm-hmm.
Layla was there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it.
The police knew by now that there were more people at the house than just Chris, Rob, Michael, and Layla.
Did you go anywhere with them that night?
No, I ain't go nowhere with them. I just told you. I swear to God, was at the house. They said they was finna leave. I went back home. Actually, Mom, I didn't come in until like late. I didn't come in till after 7 anyways.
You don't know what time you came home. Now,
but they talking about what that Mulaka at 7:10. What
I'm saying is, you don't know what time you came home because you defy your curfew so much. You don't know what time you came in. It might have been
Sounds like he's had words with his mother before.
8 o'clock. It might have been 7:30. It might have, you know what I'm saying? So you don't know. What I'm saying is, if you know something that they're trying to get out of you, I don't give a who your friends are, who you trying to protect. I gotta get to work, and I'm sick of dealing with this jail.
Sounds like this isn't their first time they've been at the police station. And let me tell you something. You know, when you're sitting there and it's either the fucking school calling you or cops calling you, and it's never anything positive, it just, your heart sinks every time that damn phone rings and you see the number on the phone. And is it the school? And then all of a sudden, it's, oh shit, you know?
You choose to have friends. I mean, you need to be honest.
Unfortunately for Rob, the police already knew that he was still holding back the dark details of what he got up to that night.
What about his cell phone? Do you own that phone?
Yeah, I own that phone. So okay. Do you all want permission to check the location?
That would be great, yeah.
That's a mom that doesn't have your back. And you know what is the right thing to do here? Well, you got a young kid that's on the hook for a triple homicide. And if he's 17, if Reaper's, I think 17 is what they said, here on Explore
with Us.
Here on Explore with Us.
We'll have to put that in the beginning. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna write it.
But if he's 17, you'll be certified as an adult at 17.
That would be great.
Mean, no?
Oh, they can check my phone. They might find
they're not looking in your phone for anything else.
So you're certain that your phone GPS will keep you at your house that night?
Are you? Are you?
That's a no.
So we gon' no.
I can just tell you, I really don't know nothing about no murder. That is the truth. I don't know nothing about no murder, and I was not there with no murder.
That's not what they asked, though. That's not what they asked. What they asked was, when they pull this GPS, will it show that you were at home in your bed, or will it show that you were somewhere else?
Somehow, just having a woman yell at you like that, that's your mother, is just, it goes right the fuck through you. One of the things, you know, cell phone data really tells a lot. For example, if your cell phone is inactive for a long period of time, well, why was that? If your cell phone is with you, it'll tell them where you went. And sometimes, even if you turn it off, I'm just telling you, there's ways that this data, this digital footprint follows you all over the place.
That's the question that was asked. You don't know?
I don't know what y'all want me to do. Like, I'm telling you stuff.
They want you to tell them mine, and I'm telling them the truth. And you sitting there going with them. Why are you believing them? They are not your son. Stop believing them. Oh, no, I was not there. Like, I didn't say I was not there. You were there.
I was not there. Where? I mean, when you say I wasn't there, that indicates that you know something, that there's a there, that there's something that happened over there. And I wasn't there when that shit went down over there.
I was just going to say, that's quite a persuasive tone, isn't it?
What, his? Yeah.
First and foremost, just moving everything you're saying. No, first and foremost, you lie so much, I don't know what to believe.
You think this mom is a little frustrated with her son? You lie so fucking much, I don't know what's coming out of your motherfucking mouth. I just, you know, my heart goes out to this parent, honestly. But at the same time, she's caught in a pickle.
Mama, you sitting there just moving everything you're saying. No, first and foremost, you lie so much, I don't know what to believe what comes out your mouth.
Don't mistake mom for a character witness, because mom's not going to say that you're a truth teller.
You didn't burn the bridge that's been gone. Let's get that understood. But what I'm saying is, you so quick Let me finish.
Let me finish, motherfucker. This is a mother who really understands the gravity of what's going on here. And she is pissed.
You so quick to want to protect people, don't want to snitch, want to be cool this and cool that, and not be known as a who is in the paperwork and all of this, that you're willing to sit here and go down for murder that I know you didn't do. I know for a fact that you didn't do it, but you're going to be guilty by association because you don't want to tell who the did it. That's the problem.
I did not kill nobody. I did not kill nobody.
Did somebody you know do it?
Like, what the
No, I don't know nothing about no murder. I don't know nothing about no murder.
And if you
I'm telling you, Mom has got some pretty good interrogation techniques, doesn't she?
lying, you standing on this island by yourself. Because if you got something to tell these people, because they have a way to tell if you're lying.
The best way to tell if Rob was lying was Chris, who was still in the room next door. He was sharing a bit more than Rob, and some key differences in their statements stood out already.
Remember when the deputy said, well, you know, Reaper is saying it was you. That's not the story we're getting here from Reaper, are we? So the cops do lie all the time to try to see if you kind of go one way or the other way.
And it's not illegal.
What?
And it's not illegal for them to
No,
to
and lying to as a tactic in interrogation is not illegal.
What do you think he's going to tell us, Robert?
He's not going to, with me, I swear to God, he's not going to, I didn't do anything. I promise you I didn't do anything. Who did?
I don't understand why you keep lying. And then you go back.
It's going to be a snitch. And it doesn't matter. Kill me. It don't matter. That is a snitch and I will die. This is not no joke. You would die. Like, you would die for snitching out here. People die for that. Real talk. Mama, people get popped and killed for snitching.
Well, we're talking about life sentences here.
Right. And this is like really just listen. Your actions and the people you choose to hang with and all of this. I didn't kill anyone.
Your actions and the people you choose to hang with. If you're a young person listening to this, listen to those words, those wise words. Your actions and the people that are going to bring you down or lift you up, as the case may be. You know, you're hanging out with people who are getting A's and B's, you're going to probably get A's and B's too. You're hanging out with people who ditch school, you're probably going to ditch school too. You know, so you are the company you keep.
Slowly killing me. I should just pause. Let me talk. I'm supposed to be at work right now. I just took a promotion. I can't keep missing work over that you are doing or the people you hang with or just any of that. Like, I don't know if you know or not, but they threatening me with contempt of court because I don't come to none of your court stuff for the other shit you got going.
You know, and he has no fucking compassion for his mother. You know, no sense of I'm really impacting my mother. You know, I'm really impacting her job, her life. Contempt of fucking court because she can't get there because she's got to keep her job.
Oh, no. I make sure you get there, but I cannot keep missing work. And you sitting here in my face telling me that you don't want to snitch because your life is they gonna kill you. Pause. You don't know.
Let me tell you something about snitches. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've tried a case where a jail snitch. I don't let my clients have paperwork because the guy in their cell is going to read it and try to cooperate against them. In almost 27 years of practice, you don't see people getting offed for snitching. Happens every blue moon. But what he's talking about at 17 and the other 17-year-olds and other people in this case is not a reality for him.
It wasn't me. I didn't kill nobody. They trying to get me in my city.
I didn't say that you killed anyone. Robert, you don't understand that you're just as guilty if you know who did it and you're not saying nothing.
Not true. That is not true. That's not a true statement. If you know who did it and you're not testifying about it, first of all, they can't really compel you to say who did it. They can put you in front of a grand jury, and if you don't testify in front of the grand jury, they can hold you in contempt, and then they can hold you until you say whatever. But you're not, if you know something and you don't tell, that's not aiding and abetting, and that's what she's talking about. Guilt by association. Guilt by association is when, let's say you and I go in to rob a liquor store, and then I shoot somebody. That's a natural consequence of it. I'm aiding and abetting the liquor store robbery, and I'm on the hook for the murder that you just committed.
And yeah, omissions aren't crime.
That's guilty by association! Like, what part of that is not clicking for you? If you know who killed these kids, then you need to tell him.
Some part of this tirade must have made an impression, because at long last, Rob shared his version of events.
Taj killed all three of them.
Okay. Tell me.
That did not sound convincing.
Tell me about it.
Were you there?
The whole story?
Were you there?
The whole story.
Let him talk.
I say the whole story.
Tell me the whole story.
Rob just mentioned 3 victims, but the detectives had so far only asked him about 2. Not only did this grab their attention, but they likely suspected that the Taj that Rob mentioned was 16-year-old Taj Bruton, with whom they were already acquainted due to previous cases. Unfortunately, this didn't mean they knew where to find him. Several weeks earlier, Taj cut off his ankle monitor and went on the run. The detectives would focus on this after...
How far do you think a 16-year-old gets on the run?
They got more of the story from Chris, who picked up the story after he said Rob, a.k.a. Reaper, knocked on his window.
Okay, Reaper knocks on the window.
He knocks on the window. He said, come on, we're finna go see some girls.
And just so you know, when you go to trial for murder and your nickname is Reaper, you're starting out in a deep, deep hole.
We finna go see some girls or something. Then we went out. And this girl and the boy picked us up. I don't know what. This girl and this boy.
Describe.
From Rob's statement, the police believed this had to be Michael and Layla. He made no mention of Camille, however, even when he explained where everyone was sitting in Layla's car. The seating arrangement would be crucial later. Layla was driving, Michael was in the passenger seat, while Chris and Rob were in the back seat. But they weren't alone.
Then somebody came in the car, I don't know what his name. It was like somebody in all black.
Okay. And how does this person look? I know you said he's wearing dark colored clothes, right? I heard you say that.
Ski mask on too. Yeah.
I'm telling you what, if somebody got in the car wearing a ski mask, I'd be like, what is going on?
But that didn't appear to be Chris's response, and the detectives likely had a horrible inkling as to why.
Yeah, I looked at Rob, I was like, I thought we were going to see some girls. He's like, yeah. I was like, oh, all right. And then we kept driving then.
Throughout his interrogation, Chris would only refer to the man in the ski mask as the X-Man. Luckily, Rob had already revealed the identity of their companion.
We pick up Taj. As soon as Taj came out, that was the first thing he told me, like, we knocking on. We knocking on. I was like, nah, but I ain't even trying to do all that.
It took a little more persuading, but Rob eventually told the police that they could find Taj at his girlfriend's house. They picked him up and brought him to the station after they finished talking to Chris and Rob. But instead of clearing up the questions detectives had, Taj made everything more confusing. He said everything was Rob's idea.
I'm sitting right next to him. And he whispered in my ear, he was like, bro, I'm finna rob these tonight, bro. I look at him like, what you mean you finna rob these tonight? He's like, bro, so sad. They look, bro, they got a pound of weed, they got some money, bro. And if they don't go for it, I'm gonna kill them. That's exactly how he said. At this point, I'm frantic. If I can't, if I tell Sosa, right, Rob's sitting right next to me, so therefore he's gonna shoot me. So I'm sitting here, I'm scared as hell, so I'm like, I ain't got no choice but to just sit here and just, it is what it is.
Rob told detectives.
When you have 3 stories and they all go like this, how do you sort that out? And you sort it out by putting pressure on each one of them, and somebody will eventually crack.
That it was the other way around.
It was so random. Like, he just said he wanted to knock him off. I'm not thinking he's serious, though. Like, at the time, when he first said it, if you would have seen his face, like, right, he was laughing. Like, if I would have really thought he was finna kill, like, I wouldn't have got back in that car. I would have stayed right there and called my mom and be like, can you come get me? I didn't think he was serious until when the car started slowing down and I seen him up the gun.
Rob said that Taj did this because he wanted to take Michael's firearm. Over in Chris's interrogation room, his story aligned with Rob's, for now.
What triggered him to just start shooting? I'm trying to figure out. Is something in between that you're not saying?
Because I think the person that, the white guy, I think they said he had a lot of money or something.
Oh, so it was set up as a robbery. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay. So they were setting up to rob the man.
Let's just say that this story is true for a second, okay? That this is set up as a robbery for a pound of weed and some cash. These people don't have that much money. And is it really worth the rest of your fucking life to kill somebody over a pound of weed? How does that make any sense? That's what I'm talking about. When you have this juvenile brain who's making very permanent and very adult decisions. And it's just sad.
Did Reaper mention that to you, that something was going to be set up or anything?
He didn't even know. Like, all I heard was pound, and I thought somebody was shooting at us, so I hopped out the car and ran.
I'm looking. Boom! Boom!
Once again, Taj's version was a little different.
55 shot, so boom. Layla got shot by Rob because that was diagonal. It was crazy as fuck.
Just like that. It took 2 shots. It wasn't no more than that. It took 2 shots to kill both of them.
The police knew at least part of this was true. Who shot who was yet to be determined. But tragically, they'd confirmed the second victim as Layla's boyfriend, Michael Hodo. He was in the grass by the side of the road, just blocks away from Layla. He was deceased when police found him. Michael's father had a heartbreaking reaction when he found out that his son would not be coming home.
My son's dead. Can you think of anything worse? I mean, it's one thing if your child is, either a victim of an accident, because accidents can happen. It's another thing if your child is a victim of, some tragic illness like cancer or something. That is tragic. But to have it senselessly snuffed out for a fucking pound of weed.
I'm sorry to be the one to tell you.
No! Oh my God! No!
Can they come back out here and help? We have to talk. We have to find this out. Who's to find this? This is to go find out who did this to Sam. I'll find him when I kill him and kill him. Oh my God! No, that's not my baby.
While Michael's family reeled from the devastating news, Chris continued with his upsetting story about Michael's final moments.
And you said he shot this white guy first?
Yeah, the white guy was like sitting like this, and
where'd he shoot him at?
Like right here.
And the gun was pressed up against his head? Is that what you're?
I think it was like.
Okay. And then, what about the white?
That's murder one. That is murder one. You put somebody, a firearm up against somebody's head, there's only one reason to do that.
The girl that's driving. Tell me about that.
He turned the gun and shot her.
Where'd he shoot her at?
I don't know.
Rob agreed, which would soon become increasingly rare.
Where did he shoot Layla?
No, I think it was headshots.
On the other hand, Taj put the blame back on his 2 companions.
I know he shot Sosa in the back of the head. I seen that happen. I seen Rob try to shoot her, right? And when he tried to shoot her, he shot her, and then his gun didn't go off, so he reloaded it again and shot her.
All contradictions temporarily aside, Chris added another disturbing detail.
Did he see it coming?
No, it was like to the back of his head.
Okay. Did he have any time to defend himself?
No, but Taj just upped it and shot him in the head.
At this point, police were still searching Forest Lakes Park for evidence. Now that they knew the shooting had occurred in Layla's car, it was more important than ever to find the vehicle. Most of all, though, they were looking for any sign of Camille. They hoped to find her alive, but the police were likely aware that, like Layla, she could be seriously injured and in need of medical attention. If that was the case, every passing moment decreased her chance of survival. For the time being, though, her family was left in an exhausting state of limbo. The situation was made infinitely worse by rumors that Camille had been caught up in the shooting. Frustratingly, the police still had no concrete answers for her family. They had to hope that Chris, Rob, and Taj would ultimately provide an explanation. They got even...
See, if all three of them stay silent, who shot who? Who shot who? I mean, it's a whodunit. So you have to create a circumstantial case. So if the three people that were there are dead, and those are the only three people who know exactly what happened and why, these people, even if they were there, who did what, when, and how?
Closer when Chris continued with more of the story, but once again, the details started to get shaky.
Was the car driving whenever they got shot?
No, it was just like, it stopped, and then, like, it kept going, like, when I hopped out the car, it kept going with it.
Where did the car keep going when it kept going?
Like, to a dumpster.
Did you get back in the car?
Yeah, I got back.
I mean, did you want to get back in the car, or did you not? No, you didn't want to. Okay, what made you get back in that car? Explain to me that.
Because he had a gun, I thought he was going to get to shoot at me, because if I was just with him and if I was just with him, he just killed somebody, and he probably would kill me too, because he think I was going to snitch.
On the contrary, Rob said that he was the one who jumped out of the car.
When he shot Layla, I got out the car because the blood started dripping. I ain't wanted to get on me.
Taj claimed the same thing.
I get out of the car, they still shooting because it was like 4 to 6 shots. I don't know exactly how many shots it was, but it was a couple shots, bro. So at this point, we hear this lady. This lady's over there like, I'm running. I'm trying to hide in the forest. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. I'm trying to call spring everything. So this lady, hey, what's going on over there? He sees me, or I guess he ran back over there. Rob ran over here, and he was like, hey, this, that, and the third. So I'm like, I'm just do what he tell me to do. I just want to go home. So
the only thing that this established was that at least one of the boys had gotten out of the car. But this wasn't news, as the woman who saw the car hit the dumpster also told police that she saw a male figure running around shortly after she heard gunshots and saw the crash.
So his story is a little bit corroborated, at least as far as that part goes. And that's what they're looking for here, is to figure out who's telling the truth, because they can't take their word for anything.
The detectives decided not to challenge the boys on this front for now, and pushed for the truth on more important matters instead. They started with Rob.
What happened to Layla? Where did they...
I don't know. Taj threw Layla out the car and hopped in the driver's seat and started driving.
Rob said Taj repeated the process a short time later.
Taj pulled body out the car, patted him down the mechanic. He grabbed the mechanic, got back in the driver's seat, and he drove off.
Was that next to Layla where she was pulled out?
No, it was in a different spot.
This made sense to police because the second crime scene, where Michael's body was found, didn't have much blood. There were, however, what appeared to be drag marks leading from the road towards the brush where the body lay.
Did you help?
Very hastily concocted plan or murder. I mean, these guys just don't know what they're doing, but they're dangerous as fuck.
Like, I ain't touch nobody. I ain't touch a body. I ain't touch nothing. I swear to God, I ain't touch nothing. Once they was dead, I said, take me home, man. Take me home.
Yet Taj said that wasn't how it happened.
Rob drives. He pulled Layla out of the car. That's why she got left by the dumpster. He starts driving. He's driving. We go around the corner. He goes over to Sosa. Sosa had, I think, in his somewhere on him. So he pulled Sosa out of the car. He just dragged him over in some woods or some shit.
And were you driving the car?
No, I was not driving the car.
The detectives asked Chris similar questions.
Did you pull her out of the car?
What is Rob doing during all this?
He was sitting in the back.
What's he saying?
He was like, oh, go.
And what happened next?
Yeah. And he drove all the way out there in Ottawa. And he tried to put a thing in the river, but I think got stuck or something.
What thing are you talking about? The car. Okay.
Once again, the detectives already had information that would let them know if one of the boys was lying. The search of Forest Lakes Park had finally paid off, leading police to another grisly and tragic discovery. Taj picked up the story again to tell his version of what they did with Layla's car.
We get over here to this lake. It's dark as hell. 3-5 get out of the car. He get out of the car. Rob tells him, hey, start wiping everything down. So he started wiping everything down. He's wiping everything down. The door handles everything. He's wiping everything down. So after he started wiping everything down, Rob takes Layla's phone and Sosa's phone or whoever phones he found in that bit, threw him in the lake, throw him in the lake.
The lake in question turned out to be 5.5 miles or 8.8 kilometers outside Forest Lakes Park, but police had no question that this was the scene they were looking for. When they dredged the lake, they recovered the 2 phones from the water, which were determined to be Michael and Layla's.
That's huge to find their phones. So whether or not they can get data off of the phones themselves, the tower logs and anything that's uploaded to the cloud won't be affected by the phone being submerged.
But this wasn't the only evidence they found. Taj attempted to explain what was found as he continued his story, starring Rob as the mastermind of the crime.
He tell 3-5, get in the car, drive the car into the lake. For whatever reason.
When the detectives asked Chris, though, he said he was nowhere near the car at that point.
Were you in the car when it was going in the river, or?
Yeah, I was out. I was trying to run back to my house.
Mm-hmm. You were out of the car. What was Rob doing?
I don't know. I left. I was running back to my house.
What did he say he did with the car after that then? I didn't ask all of that. I didn't ask that.
What about the guns that were used?
I don't know where those at either.
Oh, it's barely in the lake. Okay. Like when he drive, it might be the 2 front tires in the lake. It might be a little bit more of the hood, but the back of the car, all that is still out of the lake.
That was exactly how the police discovered the car.
So Taj apparently is giving information that it's corroborated quite a bit. And that's how they're going to determine who's responsible for what. However, I think all 3 of them are on the hook.
He continued his tale.
Describe to me the clothes that you were wearing that night when all these bad things happened. What happened to them?
They wanted us to burn them.
Who wanted you to burn them? Did you have blood or something on them?
No.
Are you sure?
I don't think so.
Like Detective Pender said, we processed that car front to back, top to bottom, bottom to top 3 times. 3 days worth of actual forensic work, several forensic people. I don't think you could have sat anywhere in that car and not got blood on you.
I think it was something on my shoe.
I'm standing over here scared as like I think it's blood all over me, but it's dark, so I don't know. But I think it's blood all over me.
Rob said burning the clothes was all Taj. Taj, of course, said it was Rob. Regardless of who had the idea, the police found the remains of clothing in a burn pile in the forest, including pieces of shoes, sweatpants, and sweatshirts. However, this was not the only clothing item the police discovered intact. Chris's shoes, which he described as Nike slides, were found discarded in the bushes, and a single glove was found near Michael's body.
So if everybody's getting rid of their clothes, guess what? They're all on the hook for, at the very least, aiding an offender after the fact, because they're trying to cover up the crime after the fact.
Another was found near the lake. The police asked Taj about this.
So were you wearing gloves at this time?
Yes, I was wearing gloves, because like I said, I was supposed to go hit.
And what about Rob?
Rob was wearing gloves too. Yeah, Rob was wearing gloves.
Taj revealed that the original plan was for the group to go car hopping that night, which was why he was wearing gloves and a ski mask. But police had to wonder if there was a far darker reason the boys brought these items. For now, the detectives wrapped up the conversation with Rob.
Do you feel a little better now that you were honest? Did you need to get that off your chest?
Worse. Now I feel like I just snitched on everybody and
The detective stepped out, but little did Rob know that his night at the police station was far from over. There was a lot more that he needed to fess up to, but for now, he was left alone with his mother.
That is probably the worst place that you want to be, is alone with your mother after an evening like this.
charge you because you were there and you didn't come forward.
Did come forward.
I'm talking about when it happened.
I just told you everything.
I'm just letting you know, Rob. You don't
I'm
understand.
gonna get charged for murder, Mama. What was the point of snitching on everybody if I was gonna get charged? Why did you make me snitch?
I said I don't know.
What's the point of snitching?
We're gonna ask you to step out now.
Hey, Mama. Wait, hey, is my mama still here?
Yeah, she's still
Wait, Mama.
Talk to me. Give me.
One of the things that, you know, they keep the video rolling when they're alone. And sometimes they'll leave them in a room for extended periods of time and just to watch their reaction. Because sometimes somebody will make a spontaneous utterance and they'll say blah, 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 and inculpate themselves. I've had that happen multiple times.
Okay, can you see if they do charge me? Can you see if she can give me a lawyer? I didn't kill anybody.
Hey, relax.
Can you ask her, please?
Rob waited, asking the detective stationed at the door several times to bring his mother back.
Now he's asked for a lawyer. He did ask for a lawyer.
But she had left to go back to work. Before she did, she informed police that she did not want Rob answering any more questions without a lawyer present. Rob was not on board with this plan.
Is my mama still out there? Hold on. How can I get charged for murder?
Listen.
Can you explain it to me?
Hold on. We got it. We're taking your DNA, okay?
While the police took Rob's DNA, fingerprints, and photos, he continued to ask them how it was possible that he would be charged with murder.
Listen, can I tell you the situation, please?
I heard it. Listen, let them do their thing. Your mama's not here yet. We can't talk to you.
She's close?
I don't know how far she got, but she is on her way.
Rob's interrogation might have been on pause, but the conversation with Chris remained in full swing. The questions he faced were about to get a whole lot harder.
They executed a search warrant on the house, which they did collect some things, and I'd like to talk to you about those things too. Mm-hmm. But because you, because it was like a surprise on that.
Yeah.
So guess what? If you have any of the decedent's property, it looks like you robbed him.
Was in my house that got to do with this homicide? And
I will, and I'm going to tell you about that because, like I said, I'm not going to leave anything out.
It's I can tell you, it's pretty damning. I guess I would use that word.
So, are you serious?
Do you own any firearms, ma'am? Does anyone in your home own a firearm? Okay.
Excluding any reason or any innocent reason why a firearm would be in your house.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure they found 1 or 2 firearms in the house. And I'm sure you guys have watched CSI, right? We can take a firearm, we can shoot it. That round that you shoot, we can take, and we can put it into a computer
and tell you who
can actually compare it to other fired casings, like the shell from the bullet. How?
He told me who the guns from.
Okay.
Why would you hold guns from when you know something that dumb just happened? That was stupid.
When Reaper gave you these, you think that they're going to be related to this?
I think so.
Describe
So
to me
why in the heck would a 12-year-old have the murder weapons?
why you think that.
Because he said, put these up, make sure your mama don't find them.
Okay. And the gun that you saw X-Man use, was it either one of those 2 guns?
I think it's the black one.
Meanwhile, Rob continued to wait.
Nothing is longer than waiting for your mother while the cops are just right outside the door.
Didn't kill anybody. Why the fuck be charged with murder? I do not want to be charged with murder, bro.
Eventually, the detectives did come back to speak with him, since he was insistent on saying more, even though his mother did not return to the station.
All right, so, I explained to you what your mom said on the phone, right? She didn't want us to ask you any more questions about a lawyer present. You reapproached me a couple times, and you said that you wanted to discuss some stuff first.
Even though he's a minor, even though he's a minor, you know, the decision about whether you can waive your rights and not have a parent present is a function of age, maturity, and experience with the judicial system. And he's 17, and he's been in trouble a lot, it sounds like.
Right. I just want to make sure that we're clear that you don't have to answer our question. You don't have to talk to us at this point. But you've stated to me that it's my case. I want to talk to you. Yes.
Because Rob's mom was no longer present, they read him his Miranda rights again. Right off the bat, he admitted to additional involvement.
Taj told me to help him pull the body out of the trunk and throw it in the lake. He grabs it. He's trying to pull a leg. And he was like, "Bro, it's heavy. I need help." So I grabbed one leg. I tried to help. I was like, "Bro, it's too heavy. I don't want to do this." Put the thing down. Left the girl in the trunk because I told him I didn't want to help him. Like,
Rob went on to tell a long, rambling tale about selling his gun the day before the crimes took place.
Just elaborate. Just even the act of picking the body up out of the trunk, aiding and abetting after the fact, obviously, and
so generally speaking, aiding and abetting after the fact is a crime that is punishable by usually half of what the underlying case was. Every state is a little bit different. One of the things that people do in these situations is they think they can explain away the case, and now he's panicking. He's absolutely panicking, and he thinks he's going to try to, if I just give him this story, you know, they'll buy it and I'll be out of here.
The detectives hear him out before dropping a bombshell.
So that's an issue because we have that gun now.
No, that's not.
It was at 3-5's house. You said you sold it.
I did. That's not my gun. That one's not mine. That's not
the
my
same
gun.
In addition to this, the police strongly suspected Rob had stolen the firearm.
You may have told the truth that you didn't pull a trigger, but you knew this was going to happen. You knew it was going to happen.
I did not know this.
The detectives had a similar exchange with Taj.
We've sent some of the casings off to be examined already. It's not back, I'll tell you that. Otherwise, we wouldn't probably be having this conversation.
So the firing pin or will strike. There's two things going on. The firing pin will strike and make a mark on the casing in a particular way, okay? And you can tell if it's off center or wherever it strikes that it could eliminate it or say it's probably the gun. But you can also take the bullet, and the bullet has what they call striations, you know, the grooves that happen on the bullet when it goes through the barrel. Because the barrel has grooves in there to make it spin, you know, like a football when you throw a nice tight spiral. A lot of times you won't be able to get that on a bullet because, you know, once it goes into a body and hits bone, it fragments and that kind of thing.
Those casings aren't going to come back, like he said, to a third gun.
To a third gun, they shouldn't.
Multiple casings were found at all three crime scenes, but especially near the car at the lake. Even if the boys weren't budging on the issue of who shot who, lab tests would reveal the truth in due time. In the meantime, the detectives brought up something two of the boys in particular were probably dreading.
Let's talk about the trunk of that car.
You open the trunk, sir?
There's another part that we haven't talked about.
Trunk?
Mm-hmm.
It was a girl in the trunk. Mm-hmm. And he told me to open the trunk. And he shot her.
Where did he tell you to open the trunk from?
You see this right now?
He told me to open the trunk from the inside, like the inside.
Okay.
And whenever you pulled that open, tell me about what you saw in there.
All I seen was luggage, and then he said move, and then he shot.
Okay. You said all you saw was luggage?
Luggage and it was like a girl.
And what part of her body could you see? Could you see her feet, or hair, her hand? Describing
I seen hair.
I did not even know it was another person in the trunk at all.
Okay. So you just riding around and she's just in there?
Yeah. I mean, we rode around like that before, though.
Just because there ain't no room for all the people?
Just because there ain't no room for all the people.
When you go to open up that seat, what were you thinking in your head?
Like, what am I going to do?
Regardless of whether they're blame shifting or not, In for a penny, in for a pound.
I was like, I was thinking like there's a person back there.
Did this person say something? Describe to me what you heard. What you heard whenever you opened that seat up. What noises?
All I heard was somebody tell me to watch out, and then I heard gunshot, 2 gunshots.
Tragically, the third victim was determined to be none other than Camille. Her body was discovered 2 days after Layla was found on April 1st. Like Chris said, she'd been shot twice. The location of her wounds indicated that her death had been no accident. It was highly unlikely that Camille had been shot once in the back and once in the head by chance. As soon as she was identified, law enforcement made contact with her aunt, Amy, for a difficult conversation.
So you probably know why we're here, where we've been investigating the incident that happened Friday involving Layla and the other individual that was found deceased.
You know, it took us a little while because we couldn't positively identify her, so it took us a little while. But, you know, we're certain that it's Camille that is now deceased.
Probably to detectives' surprise, Amy remained stoic.
Triple homicide. How senseless. Over what? Do you remember what this was about? It was about a pound of weed.
As it turned out, she already knew Camille was deceased.
Oh, and look, it's in Florida, no less.
The grandpa of Layla actually came to my house when I found your card, telling me that Camille was deceased and how are you doing is what he told me. They were talking about
Camille
it at the hospital that Camille was deceased already. I had a mother call me at midnight last night that, my phone has not stopped.
While Amy tried to come to terms with the loss of her niece, the detectives at the police station asked Chris more about the specifics of Camille's murder.
What happened? What happened after he shot her?
He closed it, and we left.
How many times did he shoot her?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna.
I think once, twice.
Well, what is it? One
Twice.
Twice? Okay. Do you know what part of her body he shot her?
No, when I opened it, he heard everything, so I looked away.
As if this wasn't horrific enough, Taj put forth an even more disturbing version of events. Predictably, he insisted he was not the shooter. The culprit he named was spine-chilling.
Who folds the seat down?
3-5, because he was on the side, so he hops out of the car, right? He can get out of the car, flip the seat down, boom, hit her once. So he shot her once.
Where did he shoot her?
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't see exactly where he shot her at all. And then...
So Taj did it, 3-5 did it, Rob did it. They all acted in concert.
She's not dead yet. So Rob sees that and he shoots her to make sure she's dead. So Layla got 1 headshot and then Camille got 2 because she wasn't dead yet.
For once, Rob agreed with Taj, at least partially. Before his mom left the police station, he told this to the police.
It was 3-5 that did that. 3-5 dropped the seat and shot the girl, and he shot her in the head. And Taj was like, shoot the in the back, shoot the in the back. 3-5 dropped the back seat and he shot the girl. She was still alive. He's like, finish her. So he shot it again.
3-5, police knew, was Chris's street name. Still, something wasn't quite right. After getting this far, the police were not willing to accept anything short of the full truth.
Now, Reaper, Rob, there's a lot of similarities that are overlapping here, but there's definitely a discrepancy that Rob told us about what happened to the person in the trunk.
So it's not like they just go interview one person and then go interview another person and then another person. They will shuffle around between people. Say, okay, we'll just hang tight. Let me go check on something. I'll be right back. And then they try to piece together what are the threads that are consistent and what are the threads that are inconsistent.
Happened to the person in the trunk.
They're trying to make him the shooter, right? Yeah, that's what y'all leaving out. I mean, be honest. Be honest. We being all being honest here. Just be honest. Is he the shooter? That's what they're saying. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do is just say that. I mean, stop going around it.
I can tell you that he is not. You, Chris, are not being blamed for those people in the front seat.
In the back seat is what the trunk is the one that
we have some issues with the trunk.
I'm gonna keep it real about.
Tell us.
Tell us.
Be honest, baby. It's okay.
Because you're gonna feel so much better. You're gonna feel so much better. You're gonna feel so much better once you talk about what
What's wrong?
it's.
What tell me. Say it. Just say it. He said, if I ain't do it, you gonna kill everybody I know.
So tell us what you did.
So he says, if I don't do it, he's going to kill everybody I know. That's coercion. That's duress. That is a defense.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Who made you do it? Who is it? Rob. Rob made you do it? Yeah.
And that's consistent with what Taj said.
He said he gonna kill everybody you know. Well, who is the X-Man? I don't know who that is.
Now, did you...
Just calm down.
Yet again, Rob said something different. Before his mom left the station, he had shared this information.
Taj made him kill the person, or he was gonna kill 3-5.
Is that what he said?
Well, so what he's basically saying is exactly what 3-5 said, only it's him, not Taj.
He told 3-5, if you don't kill this girl, I'm gonna shoot you in your head.
Let's go on here. He said that he would kill everybody you know, and you did fire a gun. Tell me about what you did.
I think I shot the girl. I don't know where it was, but and then he came up and shot her too.
Okay.
Who did?
Rob.
Okay. So when you shot her, what gun did you use when you shot her?
The ex dude gave me the Scott.
If Chris used Taj's firearm, that would explain why they only found 2 weapons during the search warrant. This brought up another question, though, which the detectives had addressed with Rob and his mom.
So that's my concern here, is that you said that Taj was pretty much orchestrated this and was concerned that 3-5 would snitch on him. So he made him
3-5 do that.
But you saying that he was completely fine with you not taking any part of that?
Yes, with me, he just told me, if you snitch, I'm gonna kill you.
With his mom there, Rob insisted that he was innocent. Now that she was gone, though, the police hoped he might be more forthcoming.
I honestly don't think you're a cold-blooded killer. I know Taj, I've dealt with him, and I've dealt with you. And there's a reason I wanted to talk to you. Because I don't think you're that dude. I don't think you're a cold-blooded killer. Taj, I don't know anything about 3-5. I've never met him. But I'm telling you that when the evidence says that you were there and that you shot someone, there is no explaining that.
Evidence is gonna tell you that I'm there, but all I can tell you is that I didn't shoot nobody.
Did you shoot Layla?
No.
Because I got information that somebody that was in their car had a thing for Layla, and he couldn't do it. So somebody else did it.
No.
Okay?
No, that's not true.
Your brother's talking. Is there any reason why he would be telling people that you shot one of those people if you didn't do it?
Police likely used this as a tactic to get Rob to talk and hopefully reveal the truth.
So like I said, it's a common tactic to just make shit up to try to get him to spew whatever he says.
Perhaps this was how Amy knew Camille was deceased before the detectives contacted her. In Chris's interrogation room, his mother struggled to come to terms with what he'd done.
You shot somebody that's dead, boy. What the No, this is a homicide. This is 3 people dead. This is some shit that's serious. You gonna kill my family. What am I supposed to do?
That's why
I understand. That's what we were trying to tell you from the beginning.
Chris, take a deep breath.
Just calm
Take a deep
down.
breath. Now listen to me. When you say that someone threatens your family and threatens you, I need to put it in the report. Take a deep breath.
Please tell me, what am I supposed to do?
Chris's mom didn't have an answer to that. She asked one of the detectives if she could step out for a moment to compose herself.
He know where I live, and he knows my whole family. He was gonna kill my whole
Are you talking about Reaper? Or are you talking about Stavo?
Reaper. He was gonna kill my...
Let's talk about X-Man real quick. I think you know who X is, and I think you're scared of him. Rightfully so.
They both said it was gonna kill my family.
Okay.
They both said that?
So he changed it up a little bit. Now he says both of them have got, I mean, when somebody starts changing their story a little bit, that's when, you question the veracity of everything else they just told you. The threat of coercion about killing your whole family and that kind of stuff is real. I mean, it happens with the cartel all the time. They, they get to know your family, and if he actually knew them, and the threat becomes so much more real if they know who you are.
Did they ever point a gun at you or anything like that?
Yeah.
Who pointed a gun at you?
The X-Man. He was like, don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. I'm gonna kill you down. Kill your mom.
Rob also told the detectives that he and Chris were in serious danger at the time of the crime.
Let me tell you something about Taj. Taj tell you he finna do something, and you decide not to do it with him, then I probably would have died with them.
So were you afraid of Taj that night? Because
bro, if I did not do what Taj wanted me to do, I would have died that night with them.
Taj is that bad a dude?
Bro,
Taj, on the other hand, claimed Rob always planned to let him take the blame.
If anything, if one of us go down to anything, then Taj, it was you. You did it. Everything. You did.
See, look at that firearm. I mean, I don't know how many rounds is that? Probably 30. They call this a ruler because it's like a foot long, and it sticks out of the bottom of the firearm. But I mean, these are young kids running around with this shit, and that's just common. That's the problem that I have with this. It's really common.
Legit, you shot everybody in the car. It was not me. If he got caught up, then then he was gonna go find my mama. The whole night I did not have a gun.
Rob continued with his story, claiming that he only participated out of fear.
Did Taj tell you to put the gun to somebody?
But Taj told me he told me he gonna kill Sosa. He wanted me to shoot Layla, and then he wanted 3-5 to shoot the girl in the back. I told him I didn't want to do it. Told me if I didn't do it, he was gonna kill me.
You hold the gun to her Layla's head?
Yeah, but I tried to shoot it, but it clicked. I tried to shoot, but it clicked. Like, I didn't have it cocked back. I tried to shoot it, and it clicked twice, so then Stavo just did it itself. That's why. I'm thinking my gun wasn't coming back. Listen.
My gun wasn't clicking. He said he didn't have a gun.
Truthfully, I still think I'm lying. Like, what I'm supposed to do, bro?
Okay. So how long before he actually pointed the gun, he told you to shoot Layla?
We was already in the car. Like, he put it in his notes, showed me, and then deleted the note.
When was that in the night? How early? How much before?
No, that was like right before it happened.
Did you shoot that girl in the trunk?
In the trunk?
Yeah.
I have to think about that one for a second.
Like I said, I wasn't there.
3-5 shot that girl in the trunk.
Still, the police suspected something was being left out.
Was she still moving after you shot her?
He said she was still breathing or something.
Mm-hmm. Who said that, X-Man or Rob?
Did you shoot the girl once or did you shoot her twice? I mean, it doesn't matter at this point.
I shot her once, and he shot her again.
Chris was talking about Rob. Thankfully, the police were finally getting somewhere with him, too.
You shot her once.
How many times you shoot her?
Once.
You shot her once? Where'd you shoot her?
I don't know.
Yeah, you do. There ain't no question. There ain't no question where she was shot. You talking about one end to the other. Where'd you shoot her?
Just shot, bro. I seen her and I shot. Like,
why?
Because she was still alive. She was gonna snitch on us all. We was all gonna go to jail for life. I didn't want to do none of it. If I didn't.
So, the reason for shooting her wasn't because Taj was going to fucking kill me. The reason he shot her was because he didn't want to go to prison for life because she's a snitch. That's murder one. That's premeditation.
But they're still going to go to prison for life.
Yeah, they're still going to prison for life.
Kill that girl. Stavo was going to kill me. I swear to God. I'm looking at her in her eyes. She's dead.
Finally, the truth came out. Ballistics reports comparing shell cases found at the scene to the firearms found in Chris's house indicated a match. Whether or not there was a third shooter remained to be seen.
Are you sorry for what happened?
I am. I did not want it to happen. I never wanted that to happen. Like, I never wanted to kill anybody. I never wanted to shoot anybody. I never wanted any of that to happen. I just wanted to get a little bit of money.
The detectives
I just wanted to get a little bit of money. So, do you see how slowly over time, Rob's story kind of unravels, and his motivation is money and doesn't want to snitch.
Made one last effort with Taj.
People already ended up dead because of you guys' craziness.
No, not my craziness. It's not my craziness.
Were you going to rob them and it was like either you had to do what you had to do or a finger slipped and it scared everybody in the car and then it's too late at that point.
Yeah, I feel you, but
that makes more sense than the story that they're telling that you planned to kill these people. That from the beginning of the night.
I didn't shoot no gun.
We talked to Rob and we talked to Chris for hours. For whatever reason, one of them was more afraid of bringing you into the middle of this than they were Rob. So for that story that Rob's this guy that's, you know, threatening everybody or his people threatening people or your people, I just don't see that.
But Taj remained stalwart, insisting that he had never used a firearm that night. The detectives hoped that unpacking one final secret could be the key to determining the truth about his involvement. They turned back to Rob to accomplish this. Like Chris and his mom, Rob was also given a jacket to keep warm in the cold police station. But he used it in a less typical way. Even as he tried to get comfortable in the interrogation room, one of the detectives returned to unpack a final secret to try to pull the case together.
The KTM, what exactly, what is it that you guys do? What is it? Like a gang?
No. It's the first time we did something for it.
So how many people like consider themselves a part of KTM?
Few of us, me, Gustavo, 3-5.
Rob's list went on, but he only had nicknames for most of the KTM members, not their real names. Notably, Michael, Layla, and Camille were not included.
I was the leader of it.
Chris was somehow even less willing to give up the details of KTM.
What's the deal with the KTM thing?
KTM.
Huh? I know Reaper has the tattoo. What does it mean? Cutthroat? Cutthroat mentality? Does it say?
Cutthroat mentality. That sounds good, in a closing argument.
What exactly is that? Like just a made-up gang name, or?
One of Michael's close friends eventually came forward, provided the police would keep his identity anonymous, and confirmed that KTM was indeed a gang. His description of their activities was chilling.
Their mentality is a mentality that they'll do anything to you and not give a fuck.
Just to get the money?
Yes, just to get the money. Just to get what they want, basically.
With that, the detectives had all the information they needed to move forward with the case. It had taken 8 hours each to get the truth from Rob and Chris. The detectives stepped out.
8 hours of interrogation is a long, long time.
Leaving Ashley and Chris alone for a few moments.
Listen, baby, listen. Listen. It's not over.
Yes, it is.
It's not over. It's not over. You just better pray and hope that the gun that you shot her with wasn't murder weapon.
Ashley also had some devastating news to deliver that was sure to upset him further.
I'm gonna go to jail. So when I leave him on top, that's I got a warrant. So I'm gonna go. My grandma gonna be trying to figure out something. I'm gonna try to get out of this. When I get out of here, I'm trying to get you home.
Ashley had a warrant out for her arrest, and
It doesn't get any worse than that for Mr. KTM. I mean, what the hell?
in order to be with her son while he was interrogated, turned herself in to police. She was charged with possession of cocaine and methamphetamine and taken to county jail. Chris, Rob, and Taj were all taken to juvenile detention, and on May 15, 2023, a grand jury indicted all three boys. Preparations began to take the case to trial, where they will be tried as adults. Taj and Rob are both facing 3 counts of murder in the first degree because, tragically, Layla did not survive her injuries. She passed away just days after Camille's body was discovered. Taj also has been charged with robbery with a firearm, tampering with evidence, tampering with an electronic monitoring device, carjacking while armed, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and grand theft auto.
All for a pound of weed. And because you're a badass.
Rob had a similarly long list of charges in addition to 3 counts of murder, including armed burglary, grand theft of a firearm, petty theft, robbery with a firearm, and tampering with evidence. Chris, meanwhile, was only charged with 1 count of murder for Camille, whom he admitted to shooting while she was in the trunk. The other charges against him were dropped, including grand theft of a firearm and burglary. However, he's now facing an additional charge of battery after getting into a fight while incarcerated. Currently, all 3 boys have entered pleas of not guilty, but the trial is ongoing. What the court finds and how justice will be served for Layla, Michael, and Camille remains to be seen.
I think if you have a wayward child who doesn't go to school, who is lying to you constantly, needs to see this. Honestly. If they think having guns is cool, if you think that walking around the streets with guns is cool, and shooting, people is cool, have them watch this. They should be building. They should be building a future and get them out of whatever situation that they're in. Anyway, no more preaching from me. That's our episode. And thanks to Explore With Us. They always do a good job. So make sure you give them a little love and go to their channel. And we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Sign up for Patreon. And if you want to get some merch for the holidays, where would you go?
You go to CLRBruceRivers.com and got all sorts of different stuff. Obviously, you see the
hats and hoodies and lots of goodies.
The Stop Self-Snitching hats, as you can see on screen here, the hoodies, all sorts of different good stuff. Christmas is right around the corner, so make sure to head to CLRBruceRivers.com.
We'll see you next time on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. 23-hour lockdown, please, is that my God.